Charlie from Lucky Voice. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
And we're just going to be getting into it straight away. So, can you sort of tell me a little bit about how we kind of got here at Lucky Voice?
Yeah, of course. So, Lucky Voice started in 2005 off the back of our founders. One of our founders, who's Martha Lane Fox, who set up, was the founder of lastminute.com, and she was in Tokyo, saw how big an industry it was out there. It's massive, and at that time, karaoke here was just you're kind of awkward walking into a pub, seeing someone singing on stage and want to walk straight back out of there. And there wasn't really the concept of private karaoke, which was very much the norm in Japan. And apparently, her and her friends had a 24-hour singing session without singing the same song twice, which is pretty spectacular. Yeah, I know. And they and kind of off the back of that, she then came back to the UK and was like, "Why is karaoke something so different out there to what it is here?" And it's so popular. And it's something so different in that it's not about singing on a stage with just trying to kind of show off in front of people you don't know. Whereas it's more about just being in a room with your people you know, your colleagues, your friends, your family. And actually in Japan, it's quite often like one-man booths. So actually a lot of people have known to like just go and after a stressful day at work, they'll go and just let off some steam, which I know. I'm always pushing for us to have a one-man booth so I can go and do that. So she kind of came back and with her partner, Nick Thistleton, who's a co-founder, they kind of came up with the concept, and then Lucky Voice Soho was launched in 2005. Okay.
And where did you fit into this?
So I came in 2009. Initially, I was actually an intern and was kind of pretty fresh out of university. Initially, kind of thought I wanted to work in sport because big sport enthusiast.
I've heard Oxford United.
Exactly. Good. Yeah, that's great. I'd love to have a little section about talking about Oxford United. And then so initially then there was another part of the business, which is our online subscription service, which actually at that time wasn't a subscription service. I remember coming in for my interview here, and this room was packed with boxes, which was basically our karaoke machines. And so initially, it was just a way of marketing the bar product was to create karaoke machines, and then we ordered we got 500 kits built in China, and just a way of sending them out to important people and just show that this is what we do. We had our famous
to venues or
no to people. So it was a B2C thing. It was just something just to show off the brand a bit and it just got a lot of traction straight away. So we did for instance, this is in my first few months here. We did a pop-up shop in Carnaby Street, and Richard Curtis, the director, came in and loved it. Film director. Yeah, came in and loved it, and he bought 50 kits straight off and said he wanted to give them to all his mates. Yeah, and then it all kind of it kind of got that kind of side of the business got going quite quickly. Like it was all very random. These kind of hadn't been in the job long. I thought this stuff was the norm, but like Kanye West blogged about our pink microphone, and literally off the back of that, we had Harrods and Selfridges asking us, we want to stock this kit, which, as I said, initially was just kind of really a bit of a marketing idea. So that kind of became a business in itself, and we had a concession in Selfridges, which we had for a few years, which was a kind of a pop-up kind of Lucky Voice living room. So there was like a coffee table that customers jumped on and that would light up and they would sing on it, and it was cool. It was great. It was a really kind of interesting business, and we were just a little bit. We basically came to it a bit too early because we were at a time where, because the way it works, there's a mic and a mixer, you plug it into your computer and then you go to our website to access the songs. But in 2008, 2009, online kind of recurring subscriptions were something like people were kind of afraid of, like putting your card details into a website then was something like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. Whereas after a few years when Netflix, Spotify, and it really became the norm, then we started to get somewhere, whereas it was quite difficult at first. But we had some amazing partnerships. We worked with X Factor. We did their karaoke machine and created a website called xfactorkaraoke.com where we got all the songs first and people could sing along to the songs when X Factor was on.
So because I remember this when I used to watch it when it was good.
Let's say, yeah.
There was like a during the adverts, just before the adverts, someone would be singing the karaoke bit. Was that you
No,
guys?
it wasn't actually. That was Talk. So that was just kind of as the kind of we were there with them for a few years, and we were trying to do some stuff with Talk, but they were pushing the whole karaoke side a lot, and they were putting out our link on Facebook, which was going out to like 5 million people like each Saturday. It was amazing, but as I said, it was just before. We were just a bit too early with it. But anyway, the business is still growing. So basically, I ran that business within Lucky Voice from pretty much when I started up. So it's for like 6 or 7 years, and then. But over time, kind of got more involved in the venues, and it kind of built up to me kind of taking over as managing director at the beginning of 2017. So Nick Thistleton, who was our managing director and was kind of one of the original founders with Martha, he does kind of business coaching, executive coaching, and he's still involved in the business, but he kind of wanted to kind of step up essentially, and then. Right. So I took over as managing director. 2 of the other guys, again, who had been in the business for quite a long time, kind of were the ops director and business development director, and it's been great. And it's been and we've spent especially the last few years kind of building the team. We've got a really great team of people now, and then with the real focus, obviously, around the venues and seeing what we can do to get more people to our venues. And then obviously we've just opened our first new venue in almost 10 years in Holborn, just about a month ago. Yeah, so we had Soho 2005, Islington 2008, Brighton 2009, and then we kind of focused on other parts of the business. Brighton at the start didn't do as well as the other venues, so we kind of, and not a great time to be opening a venue in 2008, 2009, obviously with the recession. Yeah. So we did a few other things, obviously, as I said, with the online business, with the franchise side of the business as well, and then but those venues are still doing so well, especially Soho and Islington.
Well, you've got one in Dubai as well.
So that's a franchise. That's a franchise. Yeah. So that's been there a few years, which is slightly different operation to our venues in the UK. It's basically like a nightclub with karaoke. It's much bigger, but it's great. I mean, it's an amazing space. But I mean, as I said, Soho and Islington doing so well. We really wanted to launch more venues in the UK and especially in London, and it was great to find the site that we did in Holborn and on Chancery Lane, yeah. Exactly. And it's going really well. We wanted to create a space which, so for instance, our venue in Soho is it's got 9 karaoke rooms and it's got quite a small bar, right, which is still kind of packed most evenings, but we wanted to create somewhere where people could just go, and obviously the karaoke is such at the core of the offering, but also go down there so they could go there just for drinks, for food. We've got a much bigger kitchen down there, and just let people just have a great time rather than just, so for instance, what happens still quite a lot in Soho is people will just go for their 2-hour sing, right, and then they'll go and eat somewhere else afterwards, or we try and push them to try and stay in the venue as long as possible and have a good time right without having to move around as much. So that was the kind of key thinking when opening the Holborn venue.
Yeah, nice. And you do the brunches as well, different variation of the types of events you do. And
yeah. Exactly. So we one thing which has been kind of important to me is there's this kind of dead time, which is kind of, we open our venues at kind of around 5 o'clock, yeah, and it's frustrating, that they're just sitting there for the rest of the time. So when we did a refurb of Islington a couple of years ago, and the layout lends itself much better to those kind of events like a brunch. So we have a brunch there. We have a brunch in Brighton as well, which just means that venue, for instance, our venue in Islington is full from midnight until midday until 3 a.m, which is great. And people walk down Upper Street and you see a packed venue at like 2 o'clock. You're like, well, I want to go there for a drink, and that's it. Kind of sense, it breeds that. Yeah. And again, we want to do a similar thing in Holborn as well. Is kind of create those events, get people down. There's a lot. I mean, because of the area it's in, there's obviously a lot of corporates. And the reason why we're not in the venue today is because there's a corporate party going on, and that's, I think that's. It's just thinking about like what offering we can give to people that kind of gives them flexibility. So like when we're talking to corporates, it's not just like just go and have your karaoke session, that's it. It's like, we offer a team building day where they come in around lunchtime, have some lunch, then we do kind of a music quiz, singing lessons, and for kind of smaller groups, whole package, which is kind of hosted by us. and it just makes it. Just want to basically make it as easy as possible for people to organise those parties. That like these are the different options that we've got, and we can make them as bespoke as we need to for you. But it's great because I mean the site itself is it's looking amazing, and the feedback we're getting from people who are coming to see it, and people who do organise parties, and people who do organise whether it's a work party or even like party for like friends' birthdays, hen stags. It's like they're always looking to try something different, something new, and we're in this time now where people love when things are activity based. I think like obviously there's so many places out there where you can get good food and good drink, and that's still it's so important for the industry. But it's this kind of social entertainment space where people want to find an activity. You've got bounce that do table tennis, and flight club that do darts, swingers and putt track that do crazy golf, but there's so much of those venues are still about the F&B, and it's about I know kind of Flight Club, for instance, their site in the city, like it's packed from you go down at 4 or 5 o'clock, and then those same people will still be there when it's closing because they'll have played a few games of darts, they'll have eaten with their mates, they'll keep drinking, and that's amazing for an activity-based venue, and that's kind of what we're getting to that point with Holborn, which is great. So people come before they let's say, even if they haven't booked a sing, they'll come for a few drinks, then maybe they'll book a sing if there's space, then they'll have some food afterwards. And it's the kind of venue which customers are feeling very comfortable to be in for that kind of long amount of time.
Do you have any competition when it comes to karaoke?
So there's Karaoke Box, who have 4 London sites. So they've got 2 pretty close to ours here. I mean, it really shows the demand for karaoke in Soho, especially the fact there are 3 within a 5-minute walk of each other. And we're still, you can't book on a Saturday. You're booking like 2 weeks in advance. Yeah. So there are 3 around here, and then they've got 1 not too far from us in Holborn, actually in Farringdon, and 1 in Birmingham as well. But it's
similar offering.
It's kind of private room karaoke, but it's not as premium in terms of the F&B and a few other things, and service, etc. But
a lot of your bookings, I'm assuming, are birthdays and stags.
Birthdays is a big one,
and
it's an important one for us as well, because it means that people are coming early week, because that's kind of the excuse when people are okay drinking on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if it's a birthday. So we get a lot of birthdays, a lot of hens and stags. We get a lot of kind of work parties, but mainly that's just been through that's kind of happened organically, and obviously a lot of businesses around Soho. But like as I said, it's been a real focus for us in Holborn. So we've got a proactive sales team who are going out there, going into.
Well, you've got all the offices. You've got obviously
exactly they're all there.
Farringdon.
It's all there. And what's been great so far is we've got an amazing license there, so we're open till 3 a.m. throughout the week and 4 a.m. at weekends. Oh, wow. And we've only been open a month, but like on the Thursday and Friday at closing time in the pubs, they're all coming down, and that's kind of a really key time. It's like there's not that much open in the area around there, and so it's been brilliant.
So you're getting good sort of walk-ins.
Yeah, really good walk-ins. I mean, we're mainly in terms of the karaoke bookings, we're kind of mainly pre-booked, and but it's, I mean, the footfall, especially in Soho, we're having to, and what's actually been good in these first few weeks when we've still got a bit of space in Holborn, which we might not do in the coming months, but we've been able to, so people come into Soho, I mean, we have to turn so many people away from Soho, especially on Fridays and Saturdays, and then we're able to, so what we've done is, if someone wants to come in, we haven't got space for them, we'll book them in Soho, and then we'll pay for a cab to just send them over to Holborn. Yeah. Just like, it's nice having 2 venues that, I mean, it's actually only a 20-minute walk, but people are there, they want to sing, it's like, guys, we'll sort that out for you. So it's a nice thing to like have that flexibility to do that.
Because a lot of your bookings are occasion based. Do you get much repeat custom, like people come in weekly? I suppose not so much weekly, is it? But
not really weekly. You get some who come monthly, like the big karaoke fans who will come with their, and they love it, and then they kind of bring their different friends or people or their family. But yeah, I mean, I would still say kind of if you've got people who are coming once a quarter, that's still kind of fairly regular, and you get your fair share of those. But then also for people who spend a bit of time in this area or in the area around our venues, it's quite often like, you know, it's the kind of activity where you've had a couple of drinks somewhere else and you're like, oh, Lucky Voice is just around the corner. Like, yeah, go on, let's go for a quick sing. But yeah, I mean, the guys in the venues will tell you they've got their people who that come in a fair amount.
Do you track that much in terms of?
Yeah, so I mean, this is one of the great things about the kind of karaoke activity and about our venues is like we really feel it's all about just getting people through the door that first time. There's something about the perception of karaoke, and you know, for people who haven't done private room karaoke before, as I said earlier, they think of it being that kind of awkward, a bit cheesy, and it's like, you know, and that idea of like you're in your, let's say, your third week at a new job and you're hearing, oh yeah, we're going to go and do some karaoke on Friday night. Like, oh my God, I couldn't think of anything worse than doing that. People I've never really met before. And it's so often the case that it's those people who like come in, they're timid, they're hiding behind a menu at the back of the room, that they're the ones who are like hogging the mic at the end of the night, and they're the ones who are booking straight away to bring their friends there. Yeah. And that's the kind of power that we have. And we, you know, in these kind of 2-hour sessions, there are these kind of memories created where, like, you know, people are doing, you've got like someone from the finance team doing a duet with someone from the sales team who haven't really spoken before, and it's just kind of, it really helps to bring people together. So, and also like the kind of concept of private room karaoke, unless you've actually done it, does sound a bit odd. And then like actually, but once you're in it and once you're kind of in that moment, it just creates these kind of incredible moments that does mean we get a lot of repeat custom, just because people, it's so often the case that when people think they love it, then they obviously do love it. When people kind of think they're kind of on the fence and they don't think they're going to be so sure, we feel like we convert them when they're there, and then they're often coming back. And also it is like, when there's a group of 15 that is going for someone's birthday and no one's really been before and they love it, then they're just like, the thing they're going to want to do, like each of those 15 people are going to want to bring a different set of 15 friends, or or bring their family along, or bring their work group along. And it's, it works really well for that.
Is that the marketing challenge then from your side, trying to change that perception and trying to let people know what it's like before they come?
I feel like it's still a big challenge. It used to be like a really big challenge, as in like, because so communicating what we do, because I mean, Lucky Voice is more well known in London now, but still, I mean, there's still a lot of people who don't know about it, who haven't been there, and that's obviously for us still to work on. But it was more confusing early on, when I think because there are more private karaoke room venues just around the world at the moment, and around the UK, whereas they're pretty much just used to be us and Karaoke Box, and that was it. That people do understand the concept a bit more. But yeah, as I said, it still is the challenge. Is just like making sure people think it's not going to be that, because it's so different from like you know, there's no stage, there's 2 microphones. It's all about like just having a great time and creating memories with people that are close to you, rather than showing off. Like, it's so interesting that when you know, I've probably sung karaoke with pretty much all my friends and my family that I've kind of dragged along over the years, and it's the best moments are when there's someone who isn't that great a singer, but like absolutely goes for it, and like everyone's all behind them. Whereas actually sometimes when like someone's a brilliant singer, it sounds great and everyone's like gives them a good round of applause afterwards, but it's kind of intimidating and kind of might put off a few people from singing.
It's a bit like talent shows. You only just want to see the bad ones.
yeah, exactly.
You want to have a bit of laugh at them.
Yeah.
What would you say then is one of the kind of key factors in your guys' success? Because from what I've gathered, you've grown 20% year on year for the past few years.
Yeah.
You obviously just opened up Holborn, and especially in these kind of times, that's quite a risk to open.
Yeah.
In such a, I suppose, well-known area.
Yeah.
What would you think is the kind of success platform behind you guys kind of moving forward there?
So combination of a few things. I think like it's a pretty well-established brand now. You know, we're 14 years old, and the brand is strong, and people relate to it. And I think, as I was saying earlier, like without us having too much, just like the power of word of mouth is amazing and makes such a difference. I think like that combined with a really strong marketing team, really strong sales team, both areas where we've wanted to invest a lot into to realize the power of it, especially in sales, is something that we've just over the last few years. So we didn't really do much on sales because we kind of felt the brand was strong enough, because we were doing enough from the marketing side. So our sales was really just run by the venues. Like they were taking all the calls, but it was difficult because they would be in for a late shift and then they'd get in at midday and they'd have 30 voicemails to deal with, and then they'd have people coming in and inquiries to deal with. Whereas we took that all off them and said, you focus on what you guys are good at, brought that in house, had a sales team, incentivized them properly, got them properly trained up, and like it's made a massive difference to bookings and as I said, and then the kind of marketing that we're doing, both kind of digital and general marketing it's meant that our inquiries have just increased
Right.
and we felt very confident that with just even with the overflow from the other venues, that we'd be able to fill Holborn up, especially at weekends, like straight away, which we've done. And then what's great about being in that area is you obviously get so much more early week because it is corporates and because they do like to go out early in the week, and that's worked really well. But it's and all of that combined with just great service and just really nailing that side of it.
Is that your kind of key priority then, making sure that the customer's always going to be looked after?
Absolutely, looked after, and always just getting feedback from them. So we continue to just optimize the whole experience and looking at the customer journey from the point where they are on the website and looking to make a booking, or they're calling us to make a booking, from that point to the point where we send them out something the day after, which we send them their playlist, make sure they're okay, try and see if we can kind of give them an offer to book again in the future. But that whole kind of customer care and all those customer touch points is something which it's just so important, because as I was saying, that kind of those moments that are created in the pod where everyone's singing, and there's customers who they're singers, they're just letting go, and they're really going for it, and it makes them feel special, and you've got to also make them feel special when they're outside the room, and when they're being cared for by the staff, whether that's kind of food, drinks,
Right.
whatever instructions. So that needs to be happen throughout their time in the venue.
Sure. I mean, that you kind of just answered the question there, I suppose. Like, what is the most rewarding part of the role? You've been here 10 years, so you obviously love working with Lucky Voice, and you want to be here for as long as possible, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that then when you see that satisfaction on that customer's face? Because you're not in the venue as much, are you, at night?
No, I spend a lot of time with the teams there. Try and get down to the venues in the evening, because it's so important to experience that, and we get the guys to do shadow shifts and stuff, so they are experiencing what's going on in the venue. But I think it's so rewarding to get the feedback from our customers and see how they respond to something, especially the ones who kind of haven't done it before. And we're in this business of doing, obviously giving people a great night out, but I do feel it's a level above that, because there's this just these moments of where people are with people who they care so much for, and they're just having an amazing time created by this activity in front of them. And I think it's about creating those just unforgettable experiences.
No, it's good, because as I say, you've got in London so much competition with everything else that's going on. The fact that you are bringing these people together is brilliant, and it's a new concept, and I suppose it's allowing people to get out of their comfort zone. Because
exactly.
As opposed to going to a nightclub and dancing and raving and whatnot, they're being forced into a social element with the people they like being with, or maybe in work they don't, but at the same time they can kind of get out their comfort zone and break the mould, I suppose.
I think that's it, and I think that's, having, in my teens and my 20s, when going on nights out, you go with a big group of people, but I suppose you end up spending your time with the people you want to spend time with, and that's fine, and obviously that's what you want to do. But I think with this, you're kind of put in these situations with, as I say, especially with these kind of work nights where you're with people you wouldn't kind of sit actually getting up and kind of and sing with, exactly, but it brings people out their shell, and it's it's great to see. I think it's interesting, because in Japan, singing kind of is their version of like dancing is here. So like as they kind of rather than going to a nightclub, like their norm would be to go for a sing.
Have you been there?
I've never been there. No, I mean the rest of the senior guys, I had a couple of things to deal with there, so they actually went out about 3 years ago to do kind of yeah, exactly. And it is. I mean I mean, there's lots of similarities, but I think like if I'm not saying this is the plan at the moment, but if we ever did launch a Lucky Voice in a very saturated market in Tokyo, it would be actually like this is the way that the Western world have taken on the Japanese concept of like private room karaoke, rather than just like we're just going to fit in, because it's different, and they're kind of dressing up and cosplay side, that's like a big part of it for them. It's exactly it is. But it's it's a really interesting kind of market to be in, and I think also with what's kind of different, I suppose, to so as I say, kind of bounce, flight club, swingers, these kind of other activities that are. And they're all brilliant, and as a night, and I go to the space with my friends, and I think they're great, and we learn so much from them as well, because that's a space which has only been recreated, I think, since Bounce opened in 2012.
You said you're probably one of the first activity-based.
Yeah,
venues.
exactly. But they're all competitive, and I'm very competitive, so that's fine. And I enjoy doing that, and enjoy beating my mates at darts. But this, I suppose, it's important. And this is what often people say. It's like there was the SingStar computer game where you need to hit the right note, and we do get feedback quite a lot, going, "Oh, I'd love to do that," but it completely changes the activity, because then it is about it's about singing well, and we really don't want it to be about that. It's just about just having a great time. Yeah, exactly.
Where do you guys sit in terms of social, digital marketing? I guess you've got a lot of good content you can put out around what you do.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do get a lot of success on the back of it. What sort of things do you do?
Yeah, we do. I mean, what we... so it was only... it's probably a while ago now. And we, in terms of our marketing strategy, we wanted to really focus on content. It's probably going back kind of 4 or 5 years now. And we... created a blog on our site, which we had a blog initially 10 years ago and didn't really do much with, and we really wanted to commit to that as a way of just driving people to our site. And it wasn't a blog, it was kind of mainly around music, but kind of fairly general, and a great way of driving people to the site. And our traffic, and for about a year, it made very little difference, as is the way, and that's definitely my advice to kind of people out there who are only just starting a strategy around content, is it'll take a while to really get going. And once you've got a website which is rich in engaging content, then the traffic starts coming in, and we're seeing that now, and that's been great. And that's both kind of copy and videos.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing we get requests for a lot, which we're potentially looking to do, and we were actually just out in Paris this week looking at some karaoke venues out there, and the guys out there, when you start your session, there's a record button, and you can record the whole session, which is something we've looked into doing before, and we tested it basically kind of by pretty kind of amateur setup, but literally just having a GoPro on top of the TV that people could press and record their sessions. And our issue with that was that, as I was talking about, that kind of moment where someone sings a big note and everyone's going mad behind them, and they remember it, we refer to it as the Madonna moment, where they feel like they're Madonna on a stage, but actually when you play that back, they do not sound like Madonna, and then they're like, oh no, I don't really want to do that again.
But then I suppose also some people would be for and against having them film themselves.
Yeah. So you choose it. So there's the button on there, so they can choose it. I think there's pros and cons to it, but I mean, there's a lot of, in terms of user generated content there, that people can then because you can choose which bit you want to kind of share with friends and stuff. So that's as I say, something we've tested out before, but something we might be looking at again. But
you're doing a lot in terms of social. Is it mainly Instagram that you're focused on, or
Facebook and Instagram? Yeah. I mean, we've kind of Instagram's become far more focused. I suppose only over the last year we should be getting kind of a lot more followers than we've got. But I think it's so important now, and it's a key part of our social strategy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you see the nightlife industry as a whole you're in quite a unique position, I guess, being the whole activity-based venue, and obviously a lot of talk in the industry about customers now are looking for something different, something unique, an experience-based night out.
Yeah.
Where you sit. So,
Yeah.
What's your sort of take on the industry as a whole?
I think it's obviously tough. It's obviously not an easy time. I think there's within hospitality is always when there's uncertainty going on, which obviously there is at the moment. Then that kind of affects things, and that I suppose I was kind of been used to that from the beginning because, as I said, I started in 2009 when obviously things were even almost as, or probably more uncertain than they are now. So I think that it's difficult to just churn out similar types of venues to things that are already out there. I think that I would say in the 90s and 2000s, people could just do that, and then you got the right location and you did a similar bar, nightclub, something that was already out there, then people would come. Whereas I think now you need to be doing something different. That's not necessarily saying as an activity, but there's got to be a reason you're going to go to that bar or that club, and there's different ways you can do that, but I think you need to be unique in some way to succeed, and I think more so than ever, because it is tough, and then you need to have a reason for people to go there rather than just like it's just the new nightclub in that area or the new bar in that area.
Sure. Yeah. What do you see the future for nightlife? And the future for you as Lucky Voice, where are you heading?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a really good position because I think that the future of nightlife is more venues that offer more than just a bar and a dance floor, and that's it. And I think rather than loads and loads of concepts being created, though, I think that like you'll just see more of these bars and nightclubs adapting and bringing different things in. But yeah, I think it's difficult. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think this kind of next generation who even though there's this kind of you hear of these stories, at university, all these guys they're drinking less and they're not going out. Yeah, exactly. Which is pretty different to how it was 10 years ago when I was at uni, or 12 years ago. So I think, but then people still want to do something which is interesting and engaging and fun, but we need to work harder. We need to work harder than I think we were doing before, where it's just like you open a bar, you open a nightclub, people will come, and you just, as I say again, you have to be doing something unique. But I think it is difficult at the moment because of the times and because how things are changing. But like, there's still people still want to go out and have fun, and that's going to continue. Yeah, exactly.
Would you consider that going, because essentially you've cracked the London market, which is the hardest one to do? Would you then go across the UK to your bigger cities? Yeah, so we've had franchises in other cities. So we're still in Cardiff. We're still and Manchester and Newcastle, but we've been there for a while. So there, that's ending at the moment. We were in Glasgow for a bit, in Leeds, and what we found that's interesting, and we obviously learned a lot from being in Brighton as well, is like they're very. It's more, I suppose they're very weekend centric, as in like, so in Soho will be pretty full most nights of the week, yeah, as in, and Brighton is packed on a Saturday, as in like we get just as many pre-booked in Brighton than we do for other venues on Saturday, but the rest of the week is difficult, and we get students down, and that's great, but they don't obviously spend much. We obviously welcome them as much as we do, but like it's different, and that is outside London. It's difficult to find that. There are some other cities where that's not the case. I would say like Bristol and Manchester are definitely two where that's less so, and obviously kind of Birmingham, Leeds as well, and Newcastle, and a few others. But we've got something in London, and you say that we've cracked the London market, but I suppose that's probably not where we're at the moment. We reckon, as in I think London should have kind of 5, 6, 7 Lucky Voices. Okay. So that's really the plan for now, is to, it's the first time we've opened a venue in 10 years. True. Prove that the concept still works, which it does, and Holborn's going brilliantly. And
but then to be looking around London, because London's made up of it's 25 towns within one city, and it's just kind of looking at the different areas, and we definitely want to go look kind of further east, maybe kind of further into the city, but then there's still like other areas where it could work, and it could be something smaller, it could be something bigger, but like you look at places like Clapham or like Kensington, Notting Hill, but we might just have to adjust the offering depending on the location, and there's a lot of potential there. So I mean, the plan is to keep rolling out the venues in London, and then definitely start to look around the UK, and then also outside the UK as well.
Okay. Cool.
Good stuff.
Cool. I think that's it.
Cool.
I mean, as I say, it's a different concept from yourself, because you're not necessarily in the firing line too much in the nightlife, so you deal with it here. How big's the team here?
So we have it's 18 here.
Okay.
So that's made up of a sales team, marketing team, product team, finance, and then we've got guys kind of general managers and managers below them in the 4 venues. But it's it's a really great team of people. They've been here for what's good. I mean, it's a fairly young team. Kind of main kind of age range is kind of between 25 and 30, and the average time that the guys in the office have been here is kind of about 4.5 years, which is amazing for people who are that young. So it's so important to me is to kind of create an environment and a culture where people want to stay and they believe in the products and understand it. But then it means that we've just got a load of people who are so passionate about what we do and like really want to be a big part of growing our business, and I love that. And I love also having started as an intern myself, I think like growing teams from within and giving them the opportunity to succeed within a team is so important. So a lot of the guys out there kind of started pretty entry level and have kind of worked their way up, and they're just really ambitious, driven, switched on, and potentially they could start in one role, but actually they could be far more suited to working in marketing, and that's how they could end up. And
you've proven that, going from intern to MD.
Well, yeah, a bit of inspiration to them, but it's great. So I'm really happy with the team, and I want to obviously keep growing that team as we grow more venues.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Really appreciate your time there.
Nice one. Thanks so much, guys. Nice one. Cheers, Brad. Thanks, Max.